The void of space trembled as the massive human vessel Prometheus Unbound materialized at the edge of the Centauri cluster. Its appearance was nothing short of a cosmic event, a kilometer-long behemoth that defied every known principle of starship design. Captain Michael Thompson stood motionless on the bridge, his steel-gray eyes reflecting the holographic displays that surrounded him like a technological cocoon. Lieutenant Rebecca Martinez, the ship's primary navigation officer, called out the system diagnostics with practiced precision. Quantum stabilizers holding at 99.8% efficiency. Gravitational displacement minimal. External sensors detecting multiple tracking signals from local alien networks. Her voice was steady, but a subtle undertone of anticipation betrayed the magnitude of their mission. The ship itself was a marvel of human engineering that seemed to laugh in the face of conventional spaceship design. Where other species built sleek, minimalist vessels, the Prometheus Unbound was a brutal symphony of technological might. Massive energy conduits ran along its exterior like illuminated veins, pulsing with a deep crimson light that suggested barely contained power. Adaptive nanometallic hull plating shifted and reconfigured continuously, creating a surface that was never truly static, a living, breathing weapon of unprecedented complexity. Chief Engineer David Rodriguez monitored the quantum drive systems, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces that seemed to respond to his mere thoughts. The drive was a breakthrough that had taken humanity decades of relentless research, a power source that extracted energy directly from quantum fluctuations in spacetime. Most alien civilizations would have spent centuries attempting such a technology. Humans had done it in a single generation. Incoming transmission, announced communications specialist Sarah Williams. Multiple frequencies. Looks like we've got the full attention of the local galactic networks. Captain Thompson allowed himself the smallest hint of a smile. They had planned this moment for years, not as a show of military might, but as a strategic demonstration of human potential. Every system on the Prometheus Unbound was a carefully calculated message to the galactic community. The ship's artificial intelligence, a distributed network far more complex than any alien computational system, was already processing billions of data points. It analyzed communication patterns, translated emerging linguistic structures, and prepared comprehensive diplomatic and defensive protocols in milliseconds. Where alien AIs were specialized and rigid, this system was adaptive, learning with each micro-interaction. Outside the ship, the local space began to fill with approaching vessels. Some were diplomatic shuttles, their designs elegant and minimalist. Others were clearly military craft, bristling with weapons that now seemed laughably primitive compared to the Prometheus Unbound. Each alien species revealed its nature through its ships. The Zornak with their crystalline hull structures, the Luminary with their organic bioluminescent designs, the Krital with their geometric precision. Incoming encrypted transmissions, Sarah called out. Multiple priority channels. Diplomatic, military, and scientific networks are all lighting up. Lieutenant Martinez chuckled softly. I bet they're wondering how we managed to build something like this without anyone noticing. The truth was both simple and complex. Humanity had been preparing in silence, working in distributed research centers across multiple solar systems. While alien civilizations were busy with their political intrigues and territorial disputes, humans had been quietly revolutionizing every aspect of technological development. Captain Thompson's hand touched a seemingly random section of the bridge's interface. Instantly, holographic displays expanded, showing comprehensive data about the surrounding star systems, geological surveys, potential resource locations, technological infrastructure assessments. It was more than just a ship. It was a mobile command center, a research facility, a diplomatic platform, and a strategic weapon all in one. Status report, he commanded, his voice calm but carrying the weight of years of preparation. All systems optimal. David Rodriguez responded. Quantum drive is stable. Energy reserves at maximum capacity. Adaptive shielding is running full diagnostic and optimization protocols. The Prometheus Unbound represented humanity's declaration to the galaxy. Not a threat, but a promise. A promise that they were no longer a species to be overlooked, manipulated, or underestimated. A promise of partnership, of potential, of a future where human innovation would reshape the very fabric of interstellar civilization. And their journey was just beginning. The emergency session of the Galactic Council descended into unprecedented pandemonium. Holographic projections flickered with a chaotic dance of fear, anger, and disbelief. Representative clerics of the Zornak delegation stood trembling, his crystalline body vibrating with such intensity that nearby displays rippled with sympathetic resonance. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez sat calm and composed, a study in controlled power. She wore a tailored black uniform that seemed to absorb light, contrasting sharply with the elaborate, color-shifting robes of the alien diplomats. Behind her, a holographic representation of the Prometheus Unbound rotated slowly, a constant reminder of humanity's technological might. "This is an unprecedented violation of galactic protocols," shouted luminescent speaker Vorin, his telepathic emissions creating a visible shimmer in the air. The luminary representative's tentacle-like appendages writhed with agitation, projecting waves of emotional distress that would have incapacitated lesser species. Rodriguez allowed herself a slight smile. The chaos was exactly what humanity had anticipated. The Crital delegation, known for their hyperlogical approach, seemed the most collected. Their geometric bodies, a fusion of organic matter and living circuitry, remained perfectly still. Yet even they couldn't mask the underlying current of fear. Chief Analyst Santu's voice cut through the emotional storm with clinical precision. "The human vessel represents a technological leap that defies our current understanding of interstellar engineering," Santu stated. Each word was calculated, each syllable a precise instrument of communication. "Our most advanced sensor arrays cannot fully comprehend the systems demonstrated by this ship." A holographic display materialized, showing detailed scans of the Prometheus Unbound. Technical diagrams revealed layers of complexity that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Energy systems that could draw power directly from quantum fluctuations. Adaptive hull plating that could reconfigure at the molecular level. Communication systems that could simultaneously translate and process thousands of linguistic structures in real time. Ambassador Rodriguez knew the psychological warfare was as important as the technological demonstration. She had spent years preparing for this moment, studying alien communication patterns, understanding their deepest fears and motivations. "The Prometheus Unbound is not a weapon of conquest," she began, her voice cutting through the babble of alien languages. "It is a platform of cooperation, a demonstration of humanity's commitment to galactic progress." The statement hung in the air, laden with multiple layers of meaning. Every alien representative understood the subtext. This was a show of force disguised as a diplomatic overture. Representative Clerics of the Zornak found his voice. "You speak of cooperation, but your actions suggest something else entirely. A single vessel that can neutralize entire fleet configurations. This is nothing short of a threat." Rodriguez's response was measured. "Is it a threat to suggest that technological advancement should benefit all species? Our research centers have developed technologies that could revolutionize energy production, medical treatments, and interstellar communication. We're offering partnership, not subjugation." The luminary delegation exchanged complex telepathic communications, their bioluminescent patterns shifting in intricate sequences that represented deep emotional and intellectual discourse. Speaker Vorin's response came slowly, each word carefully constructed. "Humanity has always been an unpredictable variable," he said. "Your species adapts in ways that defy our computational models. Where other civilizations specialize, you generalize. Where we see limitation, you see opportunity." Chief Analyst Santu of the Crital interjected. "Preliminary analysis suggests the human vessel contains research capabilities that exceed the combined scientific infrastructure of 17 major galactic research institutions. This is not merely a ship. It is a mobile civilization, The implications were staggering. A single human vessel carried more potential for discovery and innovation than entire alien research networks. It wasn't just a technological achievement. It was a fundamental challenge to how galactic civilization understood progress. Ambassador Rodriguez knew the true battle was not happening in this chamber. It was happening in the minds of each representative. The slow realization that humanity had changed the rules of engagement. "We are here to propose a new framework of interstellar cooperation," she continued. "Not as conquerors, but as partners. The technologies we've developed can address challenges that have plagued galactic civilizations for millennia." As she spoke, subtle holographic displays began to show glimpses of human research, medical breakthroughs that could extend lifespans, energy solutions that could revitalize dying planetary ecosystems, communication technologies that could bridge seemingly insurmountable cultural divides. The Galactic Council had been presented with an ultimatum wrapped in the language of opportunity. Humanity was no longer asking for a seat at the table. They were redesigning the entire room. Technological nightmare. The depth of human innovation. Dr. Jennifer Collins stood in the primary research laboratory of the Prometheus Unbound, her fingers tracing holographic displays that seemed to breathe with living information. Around her, a team of the most brilliant human scientists worked with an intensity that bordered on religious devotion. This was more than research. This was humanity's declaration of scientific supremacy. The quantum adaptive shield system dominated the central holographic projection. It was a marvel that defied every known principle of defensive technology. Where alien shield systems were static barriers, this was a living, thinking membrane that could anticipate, absorb, and redirect energy with impossible precision. Chief Science Officer Mark Henderson approached, his tablet displaying layers of complex mathematical models. "The shield doesn't just block," he explained to a group of stunned alien researchers who had been granted limited access. "It learns. Every energy signature it encounters becomes part of its defensive matrix." To demonstrate, he initiated a controlled test. A small energy pulse, equivalent to a medium-level starship weapon, approached the holographic representation of the shield. Instead of simply blocking, the shield seemed to dance. It analyzed the energy signature in microseconds, identified its quantum frequency, and then did something unprecedented. It absorbed the energy completely, then recreated it as a defensive pulse that could neutralize similar incoming attacks. The alien researchers were speechless. Dr. Collins continued the demonstration. "Traditional shield technology is reactive. Our system is predictive. It doesn't just respond to threats, it anticipates them." She pulled up historical data showing how the shield had evolved through millions of simulated scenarios, learning from each theoretical engagement. The weapon systems were even more terrifying. Unlike conventional starship armaments that relied on brute force, the Prometheus Unbound had developed a multi-layered offensive capability that was less about destruction and more about precise, surgical intervention. Gravitational manipulation generators could do more than destroy. They could compress space-time, creating localized fields that could disable entire fleet configurations without firing a single destructive shot. A battleship could be rendered completely inoperable, its systems frozen, its crew safe but utterly helpless. "We're not interested in wholesale destruction," Mark explained. "We're interested in strategic neutralization." The plasma artillery system represented another quantum leap. Traditional energy weapons created heat and explosive force. These new systems could create plasma streams that could penetrate the most advanced shields while maintaining pinpoint accuracy. More importantly, they could be adjusted in real time, adapting to the specific molecular composition of different alien hull materials. A Zornak technical analyst, his crystalline body now showing fracture lines of stress, muttered a translation of his species' ancient technological axiom: "No defense is perfect." But looking at the holographic displays, he was beginning to doubt that fundamental belief. The communication systems were perhaps the most subtle demonstration of human technological superiority. Where alien communication relied on fixed linguistic protocols and translation matrices, The Prometheus Unbound had developed a quantum communication network that could instantaneously decode, translate, and contextualize communication across multiple species. Language is more than words, Dr. Collins explained. It's about understanding context, emotional nuance, cultural subtext. The system could not just translate words, but interpret the complex web of meaning behind those words. Chief Engineer David Rodriguez brought up a comprehensive display showing the ship's distributed computing network. Unlike centralized alien AI systems, this was a living, adaptive intelligence spread across multiple quantum-entangled processing centers. It could make complex decisions in milliseconds, learn from each interaction, and continuously optimize its own systems. "We don't see technology as a static achievement," Rodriguez said. "We see it as a constantly evolving organism." The most terrifying aspect was the speed of human innovation. While other galactic civilizations might take centuries to develop a single technological breakthrough, humans were generating multiple revolutionary concepts simultaneously. The Prometheus Unbound was not just a ship, it was a mobile research center, a proof of concept that challenged every existing understanding of technological development. As the alien researchers continued their stunned examination, one fundamental truth became clear. Humanity had not just entered the galactic stage. They had rewritten the entire script of technological possibility. The technological nightmare was just beginning. The diplomatic tensions had reached a critical breaking point. A coalition of alien military powers, led by the aggressive Zornak battle fleet, launched what they believed would be a decisive preemptive strike against the human vessel. Their strategy was born of desperation and fear, a calculated attempt to neutralize the unprecedented threat before it could fully establish itself. Admiral Kyle Roberts watched the approaching fleet with an unsettling calm. The bridge of the Prometheus Unbound was a study in controlled efficiency. Each crew member moved with a precision that suggested months of intensive training and psychological preparation. "Incoming assault formation," Lieutenant Rebecca Martinez announced. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, tracking the complex approach of over 200 alien warships. The attack force represented the combined military might of three major galactic powers, a force that had previously been considered insurmountable. The Zornak, lead dreadnought, a massive crystalline vessel that had decimated entire planetary defense systems, moved at the forefront. Its weapon arrays glowed with an ominous purple light, charging with enough energy to crack planetary shields. Behind it, Crital pulse ships and luminary quantum interceptors formed a multilayered assault formation that had broken every known defensive strategy in galactic history. Captain Michael Thompson spoke three words that would become legendary: defensive pattern Omega. What happened next would be studied by military strategists for generations. The Prometheus Unbound didn't move to attack. Instead, it seemed to become something else entirely: a living, thinking defensive system that anticipated every single movement of the attacking fleet. Quantum adaptive shields expanded, not as a solid barrier, but as a dynamic field that could manipulate the very fabric of space around incoming weapons. The first wave of energy weapons approached. Instead of simply blocking, the ship's defensive systems did something unprecedented. Each weapon's energy signature was instantly analyzed, its quantum frequency mapped, and then, most terrifyingly, absorbed and redirected. Weapon after weapon found its own energy turned against it, creating a cascading neutralization effect that spread through the attacking fleet like an intelligent virus. Propulsion systems began to fail, not through destruction, but through precise quantum entanglement that locked their molecular structures. Ships that moments ago were preparing to unleash devastating attacks now found themselves perfectly immobilized, their crews unharmed but completely helpless. "Full-spectrum communication channel," Captain Thompson commanded. Lieutenant Sarah Williams activated the communication systems. The message was broadcast on every known frequency, translated instantaneously into multiple linguistic and telepathic communication protocols. "This is not an act of war. This is a demonstration of capability. We choose prevention over destruction. The Crittall ships attempted secondary attack vectors. Quantum torpedoes that could normally penetrate any known defensive system were gently, almost playfully, redirected. They found themselves clustered in a perfect geometric formation, their own destructive potential neutralized without firing a single counterweapon. Luminary telepathic assault teams tried to breach the ship's mental defenses. They encountered something entirely unexpected. A quantum-encrypted mental barrier that not only blocked their invasion, but sent back a complex emotional frequency that was both a warning and an invitation to understand. Admiral Roberts watched the entire engagement with a clinical detachment. This was more than a military demonstration. It was a philosophical statement about the nature of conflict, power, and potential. Total fleet neutralization complete, Martins reported. Her voice carried no excitement, no triumph, just a matter-of-fact acknowledgement of a complex task executed perfectly. Every ship in the attacking fleet remained intact. No lives were lost. No physical damage was sustained. They were simply stopped, suspended in space like insects trapped in amber, their entire offensive capability rendered completely inert. The message was clear and terrifying. Humanity could destroy them at will, but chose not to. They had the capacity for total annihilation, but demonstrated restraint, strategic thinking, and a fundamental respect for life that transcended traditional military engagement. As the immobilized fleet hung in space, a profound silence fell across the galactic communication networks. The demonstration was complete. The Prometheus Unbound had not just defended itself, it had redefined the very concept of military power. The galaxy would never be the same again. Dr. Elizabeth Garrett stood before a panel of alien xenosociologists, her presentation a carefully crafted mosaic of human complexity. The research facility aboard the Prometheus Unbound hummed with an energy that was both intellectual and almost mystical in its intensity. What makes humanity unique, she began, is not our technology. It's our fundamental approach to knowledge and adaptation. The alien researchers leaned forward, their various sensory appendages and perception organs focused intently. Humans had become the most fascinating enigma in galactic history, a species that seemed to defy every established model of technological and cultural development. Where most advanced civilizations specialized, humans generalized. A human researcher could seamlessly transition from quantum physics to biological engineering, from advanced computing to philosophical discourse. This wasn't just a multidisciplinary approach, it was a radical reimagining of knowledge itself. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, a cultural anthropologist, brought up a holographic display showing the diversity of human research centers. Unlike alien scientific institutions, which were typically monolithic and highly structured, human research facilities were a chaotic ecosystem of creativity. Teams from different backgrounds, disciplines, and cultural contexts worked together, their differences becoming a source of strength rather than conflict. Look at our research methodology, Rodriguez explained. We don't just seek answers, we celebrate the questions. Failure is not a setback. It's a crucial part of the discovery process. The luminary representatives found this concept particularly challenging. Their telepathic communication networks showed visible fluctuations of confusion and intrigue. In their civilization, knowledge was a precise, carefully managed resource. Humans treated knowledge like a living, breathing organism, something to be challenged, transformed, and continuously reimagined. A holographic simulation began to play, showing the evolution of human technological breakthroughs. What was most striking was not the individual innovations, but the speed and interconnectedness of human discovery. A medical breakthrough in one research center could rapidly influence technological development in an entirely different field. Dr. Garrett highlighted a crucial point. Our strength is not in individual genius, but in collective imagination. We don't just solve problems, we reframe them entirely. The Crittall analysts began to understand. Humanity wasn't a species that conquered through brute force or technological superiority. They conquered through an almost organic ability to understand, adapt, and transform. Cultural diversity, which many alien civilizations saw as a weakness, was humanity's greatest strength. Where other species sought uniformity, humans celebrated difference. A research team might include individuals from dozens of cultural backgrounds, each bringing the unique perspective that could unlock revolutionary insights. Lieutenant Sarah Williams provided a practical demonstration. She showed how human communication systems could not just translate languages, but understand the complex cultural and emotional contexts behind those languages. It wasn't just about converting words, it was about bridging entire worldviews. The most profound revelation came from an unexpected source. Dr. Rodriguez pulled up a comprehensive analysis of human problem-solving approaches across multiple disciplines. The data showed something unprecedented. A species that could simultaneously hold multiple, seemingly contradictory perspectives. "We don't see barriers," he explained. "We see opportunities for connection." The alien researchers were witnessing something beyond technological superiority. This was a fundamental reimagining of intelligence itself. Humans didn't just think outside the box. They continuously redesigned the box, questioned its very existence, and then created entirely new conceptual frameworks. A Zornak cultural analyst, whose crystalline body now pulsed with complex emotional frequencies, made a profound observation. Humans are not a species, he communicated telepathically. They are a process of continuous becoming. The implications were staggering. Every other known galactic civilization had reached a point of technological and cultural stabilization. Humanity seemed to exist in a state of perpetual evolution, each breakthrough creating more questions than answers. Dr. Garrett's final slide showed something simple yet revolutionary: a network diagram of human interactions, research centers, and cultural exchanges. It wasn't a hierarchical structure, but a dynamic, ever-changing web of potential. "We are not defined by what we know," she concluded. "We are defined by our capacity to not know, to question, to imagine." The Cultural Revolution was not about conquest. It was about redefining the very nature of intelligence, progress, and potential. The intelligence briefing room aboard the Prometheus Unbound was a marvel of technological integration. Holographic displays cascaded with layers of information that would have overwhelmed any alien intelligence system. Commander Michael Thompson stood at the center, surrounded by a team of specialists who represented the most advanced strategic minds humanity had cultivated. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's chief intelligence analyst, brought up a comprehensive map of galactic research and military installations. What appeared to be a simple strategic overview was actually a testament to humanity's unprecedented preparatory capabilities. "This isn't just a ship," she explained to a select group of alien observers. "It's a mobile research center, diplomatic platform, and strategic command hub rolled into one." The displays began to reveal the depth of human preparation. Hundreds of distributed research centers across multiple solar systems had been working in carefully orchestrated, seemingly unconnected projects. Each research team had been developing technologies that, when viewed in isolation, seemed mundane. But when integrated, they created a comprehensive technological ecosystem that defied conventional understanding. Lieutenant James Chen, the ship's strategic coordination specialist, highlighted the most critical aspect of their preparation. "We didn't just develop technologies," he said. "We developed an adaptive framework for technological evolution." The alien observers watched in stunned silence as the displays showed how human research centers could rapidly pivot and integrate discoveries. A breakthrough in quantum computing could immediately influence medical research, which could then impact energy production technologies. It was a living, breathing network of innovation that operated more like an organic system than a traditional research infrastructure. The ship's databases were a testament to this approach. Comprehensive xenobiological research sat alongside advanced linguistic algorithms. Quantum physics models were interlinked with cultural anthropology studies. Where alien civilizations saw distinct fields of study, humans saw an interconnected web of potential. Dr. Rodriguez pulled up a series of simulations that made the alien researchers visibly uncomfortable. These were not just military projections, but comprehensive models of potential galactic scenarios. Each simulation incorporated multiple layers of data, technological capabilities, cultural dynamics, resource distribution, and potential conflict resolution strategies. "We've been preparing for every possible scenario," she explained, "not just militarily, but diplomatically, scientifically, and culturally." The ship's distributed artificial intelligence system was perhaps the most terrifying demonstration of human potential. Unlike rigid alien AI systems, this was a living, adaptive intelligence that could process billions of data points simultaneously, learn from each interaction, and continuously optimize its own capabilities. Chief Engineer David Rodriguez showed how the AI could simultaneously analyze potential diplomatic scenarios, process complex scientific research, develop technological solutions, maintain the ship's extensive systems, predict potential technological and cultural developments. The most profound revelation came from the ship's comprehensive database. It wasn't just a collection of information. It was a living repository of human knowledge that could adapt, learn, and grow. Xenobiological research sat alongside advanced technological blueprints. Cultural studies were interlinked with strategic analysis. Lieutenant Sarah Williams demonstrated the communication systems, a network that could simultaneously translate, contextualize, and interpret communication across multiple species. It wasn't just about converting words, but understanding the complex web of cultural, emotional, and strategic implications behind those words. The alien observers began to understand the true nature of the human threat. This wasn't a military invasion. It was a comprehensive strategic intervention that challenged every existing model of galactic interaction. Captain Thompson's final presentation drove the point home. The Prometheus Unbound carried not just weapons and research capabilities, but a complete framework for potential galactic cooperation. Comprehensive medical research that could revolutionize healthcare across species. Energy production technologies that could solve resource scarcity. Communication systems that could bridge seemingly insurmountable cultural divides. "We're not here to conquer," Thompson stated. "We're here to transform." The hidden threat was not military might. It was humanity's capacity to reimagine possibility itself. The galaxy would never be the same again. The grand negotiation chamber seemed to breathe with tension. Representatives from across the galaxy sat in a circular arrangement that symbolized equality, though everyone understood that true power now resided with humanity. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood at the center, her presence a carefully calculated blend of diplomatic grace and underlying strength. Chief Diplomat Michael Thompson flanked her, his tablet containing layers of negotiation strategies that had been meticulously developed over years of preparation. Every potential scenario had been analyzed, every diplomatic nuance carefully considered. "We are not here to dictate," Elena began, her voice carrying across multiple translation frequencies. "We are here to propose a fundamental reimagining of galactic cooperation." The Zornak delegation, still reeling from the previous demonstration of human capabilities, shifted uncomfortably. Their crystalline bodies refracted light in patterns that betrayed their internal conflict, fear mixed with a grudging respect. Representative Clerics, who had once been the most vocal opponent of human involvement, now listened with unexpected attention. The proposed framework was breathtaking in its complexity and vision. Humanity wasn't seeking territorial expansion or resource dominance. Instead, they were proposing a comprehensive system of shared research, technological exchange, and collaborative problem-solving that would benefit every species in the galactic community. Dr. Sarah Williams, the lead xenocultural specialist, presented the first major proposal, a comprehensive medical research initiative that would combine the best scientific approaches from multiple species. Human adaptive research methodologies would be paired with the precise biological insights of the luminary, the advanced medical nanotechnology of the Criddle, and the quantum healing techniques of the Zornak. "Our strength is not in individual achievement," she explained. Our strength is in collective potential. The energy production proposal came next. Chief Engineer David Rodriguez demonstrated how human quantum energy extraction technologies could be combined with alien sustainable development practices. It wasn't just about generating power, it was about creating a holistic approach to resource management that could revitalize dying planetary ecosystems. Communication technologies formed another critical component of the proposal. The Prometheus Unbound's advanced linguistic and telepathic interface systems could create unprecedented levels of cross-species understanding. No longer would diplomatic misunderstandings arise from linguistic or cultural barriers. Representative Vorin of the Luminary, whose telepathic abilities had previously been considered the pinnacle of interspecies communication, found himself both challenged and intrigued. The human communication systems didn't just translate, they contextualized, understanding the deeper emotional and cultural implications behind each communication. The most radical proposal concerned governance. Humanity suggested a dynamic, adaptive galactic council that could rapidly respond to emerging challenges. No longer would bureaucratic processes slow down critical decision-making. The proposed system would incorporate AI-assisted analysis, real-time collaborative problem-solving, and a framework that valued innovation over tradition. We're not asking for control, Michael Thompson clarified. We're proposing a partnership that evolves as we evolve. The Crittall delegation, known for their hyper-logical approach, began to see the strategic brilliance of the human proposal. This wasn't a power grab. This was a comprehensive solution to challenges that had plagued galactic civilization for millennia. Compensation was addressed with unexpected generosity. Humanity proposed comprehensive technological transfers, research grants, and collaborative development programs. Regions that had been economically disadvantaged would receive targeted support, not as charity, but as a strategic investment in collective progress. The most surprising element was humanity's approach to potential conflicts. Instead of traditional defensive strategies, they'd proposed a proactive system of conflict resolution that emphasized understanding, communication, and collaborative problem-solving. As the negotiations continued, something remarkable happened. The alien representatives began to see beyond their initial fear. This wasn't a species seeking to dominate. This was a species offering a fundamental reimagining of collective potential. Ambassador Rodriguez's final statement captured the essence of the proposal. We are not asking you to become like us. We are asking you to become the best version of yourselves together. The Galactic Compact was about to be rewritten, and humanity would be at the center of that transformation. 6 months after the Prometheus Unbound's historic arrival, the galaxy was unrecognizable. Patrol zones that had been contested for centuries now hummed with collaborative research stations. Regions once defined by conflict now became centers of unprecedented innovation. Captain Michael Thompson stood on the observation deck, watching a joint research vessel approach. The ship was a marvel of collaborative design. Its hull a seamless integration of human, Crittall, and luminary architectural principles. Where once such a vessel would have been impossible, it now represented the new normal of galactic cooperation. Lieutenant Rebecca Martinez monitored the ship's long-range sensors. Incoming transmission from the Zornak Research Outpost, she announced. They've completed the first phase of the Quantum Ecological Restoration Project. The project was nothing short of miraculous. A dying planetary system that had been written off as beyond recovery was now showing signs of complete regeneration. Human adaptive terraforming technologies, combined with Crittall molecular reconstruction techniques and luminary ecosystem management protocols, had created a blueprint for planetary revival that would have seemed impossible just months earlier. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now heading the Galactic Collaborative Research Initiative, reviewed the latest reports. Each data point told a story of transformation. Medical research centers were sharing breakthroughs at an unprecedented rate. A treatment developed for a rare Crittall genetic condition had unexpectedly provided insights into human neurological disorders. Communication barriers that had existed for millennia were crumbling. The Prometheus Unbound had become more than a ship. It was a mobile embassy, a research platform, and a symbol of a new approach to interstellar cooperation. Its patrol routes were carefully designed to address emerging challenges, prevent potential conflicts, and support collaborative development. In the contested Epsilon Quadrant, a potential territorial dispute was resolved not through military posturing, but through a comprehensive dialogue facilitated by human diplomatic AI systems. The solution incorporated the cultural needs of 3 different species, creating a shared economic zone that benefited all parties. Chief Engineer David Rodriguez oversaw the development of a new generation of collaborative technologies. The latest communication network could simultaneously translate, contextualize, and bridge cultural understanding across multiple species. It wasn't just about converting words, it was about creating genuine connection. A holographic display showed the expanding network of research and development centers. What had once been isolated outposts were now interconnected hubs of innovation. Human researchers worked alongside alien scientists, their different approaches creating a synergy that exceeded individual capabilities. The most profound changes were happening at the cultural level. Educational exchanges had become the norm. Young members of different species were learning together, sharing perspectives that would have been unimaginable just months earlier. A critical student might study human artistic expression alongside a luminary researcher exploring quantum physics. Lieutenant Sarah Williams managed the communication networks that made this transformation possible. "It's not about eliminating differences," she often explained. "It's about creating a framework where those differences become our greatest strength." The economic implications were staggering. Trade routes that had been static for centuries now pulsed with new possibilities. Resource-sharing agreements replaced competitive models. Technologies that had been hoarded were now being developed collaboratively, with the understanding that collective progress benefited everyone. Captain Thompson reflected on the journey. Humanity had not conquered through force, but through a radical reimagining of potential. They had offered not subjugation, but partnership. Not dominance, but collaboration. The Prometheus Unbound continued its patrols, a living symbol of this new approach. Its presence was no longer seen as a threat, but as a promise of possibility. Where once it inspired fear, it now inspired hope. Dr. Rodriguez's final report captured the essence of the transformation. "We are not changing the galaxy. We are helping the galaxy change itself." As the ship passed through a star system that had once been a battleground, now transformed into a thriving research and cultural exchange hub, something remarkable became clear. This was more than a diplomatic victory. This was the beginning of a new chapter in galactic civilization. The journey was just beginning.